recorded.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Trupti Maslekar from Civil Engineering Department, A.G. Patil Institute of Technology. I welcome you all for the orientation session on National Education Policy, which is organized by Institute's Innovation Council of A.G. Patil Institute of Technology, Sholapur. Once again, I welcome you all for this orientation session. This is the first new education policy after 34 years. The new education policy approved by the Union Cabinet has introduced many reformations in the Indian education system, starting with the renaming of the Ministry of Human Resource and Development as the Ministry of Education. The new policy envisions to offer a new structure to the education system in the country, from school education to higher education. NEP proposes the revision and revamping of all aspects of the education structure, including its regulation and governance, to create a new system that is aligned with aspirational goals of 21st century education, while remaining consistent with India's traditions and value system. In this session, we are going to focus the various key aspects of national education policy. For today's session, the speakers are the heads of all departments from A.G. Patil Institute of Technology. I welcome all once again. Now I request Dr. Gadwal sir to please continue with the orientation session.
Thank you, Maslekar madam.
Welcome, sir.
Good afternoon to all. Respected principal, vice principal, all heads of the department, ISC members, coordinator, and my dear students, I'm here to give just a brief introduction regarding the National Education Policy, that is 2020, which is a new policy which has been yet to implemented. And before that, the history of this education policy. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. The governments all over the world place a major emphasis on education policy. There is a global pressure on increasing the attention on the outcome of education policy and their impact on social and development. However, there is often lack of understanding how education policies are formed and what constitutes an education policy. An attempt is made in the module to analyze the nature of education policy, basic features of education policy, and the intent outcome of these policies. Education policy refers to the rules and principles that governs the operation of educational systems. The module also tries to answer the questions regarding the goal of education, strategies employed for achieving these goals, and for identifying tools for assessing their impact. In the process of formulating education policies, many crucial factors have been taken into account. This includes various pedagogical methods, resource mobilization, curriculum content, and the possible impact of policy on different groups. Now, I'm going to highlight the history of national education policy in India. The first one, as you are seeing on the screen, it is a pre-British period. That is, before the independence, the policy have been implemented. So what is that? While discussing the education policy in pre-British India, an attempt has been made to analyze education policies from the beginning of ancient period to the arrival of British. Since the beginning of Indian civilization till contemporary times, those in power have directed the course of education, but it was only the advent of modern times that a scientific approach began to adopt in formulating the education policy. Now, during the British period, the introduction of Western education was an event or the great historical significance for the emergence of education policy in India. Before introduction of modern education, the opportunity for learning were generally confined to a very small portion of population. So now, after the independent, that is education policy in independent era, what we are going to call a new chapter in education policy began with becoming independent. A number of problems and challenges have surfaced in the country because of sheer diverse characteristics of Indian society. The government established education commissions in order to address these challenges and recommended the comprehensive policies for education problems and also the improvement in the India. In 1948, that is, University of Education Commission has been granted. It is under the chairmanship of Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, reported the status of Indian university education system and suggested various improvements and extension that desirably to suit the present and future requirement of the country. In 1952, Secondary Education Commission has been established under the chairmanship of Dr. A. Lakshminarayan Swamy Muralidhar, where it has reported to give the broader view of education problems of Indians and proposed to increase the efficiency of production. In 64 to 66, an Indian Education Commission has been done or it has been commissioned under the chairmanship of D.S. Kothari, which is popularly known as Kothari Commission, where a revolution of national education system has been done. In 1968, the National Policy of Education, the first policy which we are seeing today is the NEP of 2020. It is the third policy. The first policy have been implemented in the year 1968. That is National Policy on Education. It is formulated or it is the extension of Indian Education Commission. That is what we are going to call as Kothari Commission. Policy sought the total reformation and aimed at extending the prospects of education to all section of the society to accomplish the goal of harmony and integration. And also this policy had made the compulsion for education to the children from 6 to 14 years age of birth. So this is the first policy which they have made compulsion education for a child from 6. So this is the policy which has begun the new era of education. The draft, that is the next one, draft national policy on education was proposed. People which helped their enhancing the knowledge, also academic skills. Further, national policy, which is the second one, that is the national education policy in 1986. It is the modification and it is extended, whatever the education, it is extended to the scheduled tribes backward classes, scheduled caste, which are the main focused in this policy. And they have given the fellowships to these students who are going to study under set up by National Open University Indira Gandhi, that is IGNOU, Indira Gandhi National Open University. The policy had recommended the education given to the rural people in consonance with the Gandhian philosophy. It is also set a stage for emergence of information technology in education, besides opening up the technical education sector in a rather big way to private enterprises. In 1992, the National Policy on Education has been set up under the chairmanship of Acharya Ramamurthy, and it emphasizes the board has modified this NPE, that is National Policy Education, and they have given certain promotion and development in strengthening the national integration. While coming this one, in 2003, Sarva Shikshan Abhiyan, as already everyone know this one, whose main aim is to provide the education at the elementary level and universalizing the education system. And 2009, Right to Act Education. That is one more policy that has been implemented, that is Right to Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act, where from 16 to 14 student can get in the private school also the 25% seats have been reserved for socially disadvantaged groups. And now the last one, that is the latest one, is the NEP, that is National Education Policy 2020. The Union Cabinet on July 20th, July 2020, a new policy have been adopted from the Union Cabinet to universalization of education from preschool to secondary level, which replaces the National Policy on Education of 1986. As the objective of any education system is to benefit the children so that no child loses any opportunity to learn and excel because of the circumstances of birth or backwardness. The aim or the NEP targets 100% gross enrollment in the school. The sum of the highlights of this one, that is just now I told, that is 100% gross enrollment ratio has been targeted so that all students are going to be educated. It will bring around 2 crores out of school children back into the mainstream through the open schooling system. This has been done because there is analysis has been carried out in the year 2017. In 2017 November, they have carried out an analysis, and based on that, on government school and non-government school, 12 states have shown the mathematics subject they have scored below the average, and it has been analyzed that if it is corrections are not made, then around 20 to 25% students will opt no education, as a result of which there will be a huge problem. So based on that, to have a more reformatic education system, they have implemented, this is one of that is 100% gross enrollment ratio in the school is achieved. And how they are going to achieve, I'm going to have in the next slide. The new system will have a 12 years of schooling with 3 years of Anganwadi or preschooling, teaching up to grade 5 to be in a mother tongue or regional language. No language will be imposed on any student. Either they can learn in any language, either it may be English or Marathi or Hindi. There will be no restriction of language. Then assessment reforms will be 360 holistic progress card, tracking the student progress for achieving learning outcomes. By 2030, the minimum degree qualification for teaching will be 4-year integrated B.Ed degree. So one more structure, that is the structure of the curriculum, that is how the policy have been changed. That is the present scenario is 10+2 system will be replaced by a new curricular, that is 5-3-3+4. That is a structure related to 5 years. It will be in the age the student or the child will have in the age 3 to 8. Then 3 years it will be 8 to 11. Then again 3, 11 to 14, and the fourth one will be 4 years, that is 14 to 18 years respectively. This will bring the Hather, that is hidden uncovered age group of 3 to 6 years, the school curriculum, which has been recognized globally as a crucial stage for the development of mental faculties of a child. Emphasis on foundational literacy and no rigid separation between academics, stream, extracurricular, vocational in the school itself. That is one thing which we are going to have. So generally, the vocational training will be done after 10th. So here, after 6th, that is in the 6th year, they can opt for vocational course. So this is the main highlight of this policy. And the last one, that is a new and comprehensive national curriculum framework of this will be formulated under NCTE in consultation with NCERT. Thank you. Over to Maslekar, madam.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Screen share. Screen share. करा की शेअर कसं करते?
Thank you, Gadwal sir.
Thank you.
Actually, you made us travel from the beginning to the present state of education policies, and rightly we are moving into the changes which will be betterment and go for the skill development sort of arrangement that we are nowadays. Till this now we were lacking. Of course, will be like the education policy will directly relate with the skill development and help us to go with the we can say Swayam Bharat, we can say Atmanirbhar Bharat. So that was a very nice presentation from your side. I thank you on behalf of IISc, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Gadwal, sir.
Thank you,
Sir
madam.
has been discussed about the need of NEP and history of NEP and all that. Now I am going to discuss the national education policy for school education. Previously, our pattern was 10+2 pattern, means it started at the 6th year and ended into the 18th year. Now this new policy envisions an education system rooted in Indian ethos that contributes directly to transforming India, that is Bharat, sustainably into a equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high quality education to all, thereby making India a global knowledge superpower. The policy envisages that the curriculum and pedagogy of our institution must develop among the student a deep sense of respect towards fundamental duties and constitutional values, bonding with one's country, and conscious awareness of one's roles and responsibilities in the changing world. The vision of the policy is to instill among the learners a deep-rooted pride in being Indian, not only in thought, but also in spirit, intellect, and deeds, as well as to develop knowledge, skills, values, and dispositions that support responsible commitment to human rights, sustainable development, and living and global well-being, thereby reflecting a truly global citizen. The school education have following 8 clauses. Early childhood care and education, the foundation of learning, foundation of literacy and numeracy, an urgent and necessary prerequisite to learning, curtailing dropout rates and ensuring universal access to education at all levels, curriculum and pedagogy in schools, learning should be holistic, integrated, enjoyable, and engaging. 5th one is teachers, 6th one is equitable and inclusive education, learning for all. 7th is efficient resourcing and effective governance through school complexes and cluster. standard setting and accreditation for school education. Early childhood care and education, the foundation of the learning. Previous structure was 10+2. Sir has discussed this, that the education was started at the age of 6 in school, and now it is modified to 5+3+3+4. Over 85% of child's cumulative brain development occurs prior to age of 6, indicating the critical importance and appropriate care and stimulation of the brain in early years in order to ensure healthy brain development and growth. Concept of ECCE is applied. Now existing academic structure is 10+2, and new academic structure is 5+3+3+4. Now, in first 5 years, means education will start from the Anganwadis, preschools or Balvatika. Age group is from 3 to 6 years. Now here, the multi-level play activity based learning will be there, and this will be treated as a fundamental training for the students. Now, next 3 years, they are starting from the 8th year, from class 3 to 5, 8 to 11 years. These 3 years are termed as a preparatory level, and next 3 years from age of the 11 and 14, that is from class 6 to 8, these 3 years they are termed as a middle stage, where experiential learning in the sciences, mathematics, arts, social sciences and humanities will be there. Now fourth, that is secondary level, where the age group will be from 14 to 18 and classes will be from 9 to 12. And here multidisciplinary study, greater critical thinking, flexibility and student choice of students will be there. And this is the new structure for which is based on ECCE. ECCE ideally consists of flexible, multifaceted, multi-level, play-based, activity-based and inquiry-based learning comprising of alphabets, languages, numbers, counting, colors, shapes, indoor and outdoor play, puzzles and logical thinking, problem solving, drawing, painting and other visual art, craft, drama and puppetry, music and movement. Now this ECCE have some sub-clauses, that is a national curricular and pedagogical framework for ECCE for children up to the age of 8 will be developed by NCERT. Standalone Anganwadis co-located with primary schools, all these only pre-primary schools, those are all provided with the social workers and well-trained teachers for the development of the students. At the age of 5, every child will move to a preparatory class that will be called as a Balvatika. ECCE will also be introduced in ashram shalas in tribal dominated areas. ECCE curriculum and pedagogy will continue from pre-primary school through primary school. Then second is foundational literacy and numeracy, an urgent and necessary prerequisite to learning. In this, the ability to read and write will be developed and perform basis operations with the numbers. That ability of student will be developed in these years. Attaining foundational literacy and numeracy by means student should attain foundational literacy and numeracy by the grade 3. Now pupil teacher ratio will be, normal ratio will be 30:1, but for socio-economically disadvantaged areas, it will be 25:1. Digital infrastructure knowledge sharing, that is Diksha, will be used for the many development of the student. Enjoyable and inspirational books for the students at all levels will be developed. Health checkups and healthy food will be provided to the students so that dropout rate will be controlled. Next point is curtailing dropout rates and ensuring the universal access to the education at all levels. Means in well infrastructure, means at a socio economically disadvantaged area, there are lonely schools are there, infrastructure is not there. So the first point is to develop the well infrastructure of the schools. Trained teachers should be there. That care will be taken in this policy. Then careful tracking of dropped out students. What are the reasons? Those will be studied, and there will be some efforts are taken to sort out those reasons. Counseling sessions will be arranged for the students. Well, counselors will be appointed for that purpose. Facilitating learning for the students, means facilitation will be there for the students. Involve community and alumni in volunteer efforts for enhancing the learning by providing at the school. Means alumni may be involved, and they can develop the students. Whole development of the student can be attained. Means dropout rate should be controlled. That efforts will be taken for this purpose. Next, curriculum and pedagogy in schools. Learning should be holistic, integrated, enjoyable, and engaging. Restructuring school curriculum pedagogy in a new 5+3+3+4 design. Foundational stage will consist 5 years flexible, where flexible multi-level play activities will be there. Means counting, coloring, and all that. Means students should enjoy all the activities. That type of activities will be included in the first 5 years. Holistic development of learners will be in next 3 years. Curriculum will be reduced enhance essential learning and critical thinking. Experiential learning is preferred. Then empower students. Students are empowered through flexibility in the course choices, multilingualism, and the power of language, curricular integration of essential subjects, skills, and capacities. Means multilingualism is preferred. Means the students who wants to study in his mother tongue or any other language, he can get that language and he can study in a particular language. There is a choice of students for the many subjects. National curriculum framework for school education, means that will frame the curriculum for the schooling. Then national textbook with local content and flavor will be there. Means students are familiar with their local area and they will develop interest in such type of content. Transforming the assessment for students' development. Then support for gifted students and students with special talents. There is a special provision for this type of students. Then teachers. Recruitment and deployment of teachers will be followed. Means where there is a lack of teachers, then teachers will be recruited there. Well-trained teachers will be recruited there. Service environment and culture. Means environment and culture will be developed there. Continuous professional development of the teachers. Means in this, the continuous professional development of the teachers, some efforts will be taken on this clause also. Career management and progression. Means here career management of the teacher will be a main thing, where some efforts will be taken there. Professional standards for the teachers will be set by a NCERT. Then special educators will be appointed. Then approach to teacher education, means the teachers are educated again. Means teachers are educated or well trained for this purpose. equitable and inclusive education learning for all, means socio-economically disadvantaged group, that is SEGs, are brought into main flow of education. Gadwal sir discussed that about 2 crore students, they will be brought into the main stream. Children with special need, that is Divyang, some facilities or some facilities will be for there. Then special education zones are created for the SAGES under this clause. Then efficient resourcing and effective governance through the school complexes and cluster. Means now Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan scheme is there. Now that will be turned to Samagra Shiksha scheme. By 2025, every school has adequate number of counselors, trained social workers and teachers. Adequate resources will be there. Means some schools are there where one teacher is for all the subjects. Now this will be not happen by the 2025. Means where the school teacher for art, teacher for music, they will be separate. Means all these subjects, they are covered under this clause. Now adequate resources will be there. A sense of community is built to overcome the isolation of teachers, students and schools. Cooperation and support across the schools will be there, and improved governance of the schooling system will be there by 2025. Standard setting and accreditation for the school education. Department of School Education, which is the apex state level body in school education, will be responsible for overall monitoring and policy making for the continual improvement. State School Standards Authority will establish a minimal set of the standards based on the basic parameters, that is safety, security, basic infrastructure, number of teachers across subjects and grades, financial probity and sound processes of the governance. The framework of the parameters will be created by SCERT in consultation with the various stakeholders, especially teachers and schools. Format of disclosure will be decided by SSSA in accordance with the global best practices for standard setting for schools. This information will have to be made available and kept updated and accurate by all schools on the aforementioned public website mentioned by SSSA and on the school's website. The SCERT will develop a school quality assessment and accreditation framework through wide consultation with all stakeholders. Means there will be an accreditation process will be planned for every school, and every school will be accredited like NAAC and NBA and schools. So the standard will be maintained. Thank you. Over to Maslekar madam.
Hello. Now I request Professor Kulkarni sir, HOD of CSE department. Kulkarni sir.
Yes, ma'am. So first of all, am I audible as well as visible? Please, anyone?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay. First of all, am I audible as well as visible? Please, anyone?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay. Thank you, madam. So good afternoon, one and all. Respected principal sir as well as vice principal sir of AG Patil Institute of Technology, and IIC members and all the respective HODs and all the students. So first of all, thanks to IIC committee and organizer of this event, because I'm explaining this topic briefly regarding higher education. So my today's topic is how NEP will impact on higher education. So there are 4 major aspects in NEP regarding this higher education part. So first is a new architecture. So definitely this is the new architecture, as well as liberal education and governance, as well as the regulations. So these are what the 4 major aspects regarding higher education. So concerning the architecture, a new vision and architecture for higher education has been introduced. Well-resourced and vibrant multidisciplinary institutions. The current 8 800 universities and 40,000 colleges will be consolidated in this process. So how relates with the liberal education? A broad-based liberal arts education at the undergraduate level for integrated. Rigorous exposure to science, arts, humanities, mathematics, and professional fields. Professional fields will be put in place. This would have imaginative and flexible curricular structure, creative combinations of study, integration of vocational education, and multiple entry exit points are there. So how relates with this governance? Institutional governance will be based on autonomy, academic and administrative and financial. Each higher education institution will be governed by an independent board. And regarding the regulation will be light but tight. To ensure a financial probity, standard settings, funding, accreditations, and regulations will be conducted by independent bodies to eliminate conflict of interest. The new education policy states the world's top 100 university will
Kulkarni sir,
in the country through new law. Yes?
Kulkarni sir,
Yes?
have you shared your screen?
No, madam, no.
Okay, no problem, sir. Okay.
Yeah. The new education policy states that the world's top 100 university will be operate in the country through this new law. Participations of foreign universities in India is currently limited to them entering into collaborative twinning programs, sharing faculty with institutions. Over 650 foreign education providers have such arrangements in India. So actually, what is the effect? How affects the higher education part? So shift in the format of undergraduate education under the 4-year program proposed in the new NEP. So students can exit after 1 year with the certificate, and after 2 years with a diploma, and after 3 years with a bachelor degree. The traditional 3-year courses like BA, BSc degrees will continue. But regarding 4-year bachelor programs generally include a certain amount of research work, and the student will get the deeper knowledge in the subject he or she decides to major in. It will help in enrolling for PhD also. A master degree or 4-year bachelor degree with the research will be required. The MPhil program shall be discontinued in this new NEP 2020. So will this impact with the quality? Because experts believe it should not affect the higher education. This is the current practice almost all over the world. In most universities, including those in the UK, like Oxford, Cambridge, and others, MPhil has a middle research degree between a master's and a PhD. Those who have entered MPhil more often than not ended their studies with a PhD degree. MPhil degrees have slowly been phased out in favor of a direct PhD program. So, multidisciplinary approach. Standalone higher education institutes and professional education institutes will be evolved into multidisciplinary education. So the theme is like the new education policy aims for broad-based flexible learning. Institutions offering a single stream such as a technical education must be phased out, and all universities and colleges must focus on becoming a multidisciplinary by 2030. Like one more example which I want to share with you. In a civil engineer, knowing how to build a dam is not going to solve a problem. He or she needs to know the environmental and social impact of building the dam. Many engineers are also becoming entrepreneurs. Should they not know something about economics? And single regulator is coming. So what is that single regulator? The NEP also paves the way a single overreaching regulator for higher education, which will replace now UGC as well as the AICTE, so the University Grant Commissions and the All India Council for Technical Education. Now they are introducing new part, that is a single regulator, is called as a HECI, is known as the Higher Education Commission of India. So HECI will have 4 independent verticals to carry out the functions of regulations, funding, accreditations, and setting standards for learning outcomes. The professional councils such as the Indian Council for Agricultural Research, Veterinary Council of India, National Council for Technical Education, and National Council for Vocational Education and Training, etc., will act as a professional standard setting bodies like PSSBS. So National Research Foundation, it is known as the NRF. The NEP has also proposed the setting up of a National Research Foundation is NRF, with the mandate to create a conducive ecosystem for research through funding and mentoring. Now, nowadays, we are facing a very big problem with the situation pandemic situations. So online trade is coming in the market. So that's why that point is also considered in this NEP part. So online education, given the description of caused by the COVID-19 pandemic situation and the overnight move to the online classes, the policy has proposed the setting up of a national educational technology forum. It is known as a NETF, a platform for the free exchange of ideas on the use of technology to enhance learning, assessment, planning, administration, etc., for both the school and higher education. So this is what from my side regarding how impacts the NEP on higher education. Thank you. Over to Maslekar madam.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Kulkarni sir. Now I request Professor Dr. Darekar sir, Head of the Electronics and Communication Department, to please continue with the orientation session. Darekar sir.
Yes, madam. Thank you very much. Is it the screen visible to all?
No, sir, your screen is not visible.
Not really. Just a moment, madam. I think the screen is visible now. Ms. Lekar madam, please, can you confirm?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, all. As per the heading indicating new education policy, here the topic allotted to me is innovation and entrepreneurship perspective. To consider the same, I would like to start with grabbing the attention of all the students present over here with a small video with the permission of all the dignitaries. Is it the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
मैं आपको दोष नहीं दे रहा हूँ सर मैं एक्चुअली सिस्टम को दोष दे रहा हूँ मेरे पास कुछ स्टैटिस्टिक्स हैं सर सुसाइड में इंडिया नंबर 1 है हर 1.5 घंटे कोई ना कोई स्टूडेंट सुसाइड अटेम्प्ट करता है यहाँ पे स्टूडेंट्स बीमारी से कम और सुसाइड से ज्यादा मरते हैं बात करते तो सिर्फ मार्क्स की या फिर यूएसए में नौकरी की। तो यहाँ पे क्या नहीं मिल रहा है? यहाँ पे सिर्फ ये सिखाया जा रहा है कि मार्क्स कैसे मुझे सिखाओगे कैसे पढ़ाते हैं। आपके पास 30 सेकंड है बोर्ड पे लिखे हुए शब्दों का मतलब समझाना। आप चाहे तो किताब का इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं। जिसे जवाब मिलेगा वो हाथ ऊपर करेगा। देखते हैं कौन फर्स्ट आता है और कौन लास्ट। Your time starts now. क्या आज कुछ नया सीखने को मिलेगा? मजा आएगा। Anyone? So, नहीं, सब रेस में लगे। ऐसे पढ़ के फर्स्ट आ भी गए तो क्या फायदा? आप लोगों की नॉलेज बढ़ेगी? नहीं, सिर्फ प्रेशर पड़ेगा। और ये कॉलेज है, प्रेशर को कर अरे चाबुक के डर से तो सर्कस में शेर भी उछल के कुर्सी पर बैठना सीख जाता है। लेकिन ऐसे शेर को वेल ट्रेन
So let us come back once again. So the intention of the video was only to bring the attention of you all towards the new education policy that we are going to discuss here. So to all the student friends and all the dignitaries present over here, I would like to add some flavor in our today's IIC lecture, that is new education policy perspective with the help of innovation and entrepreneurship angles. So here, as per the screen, is visualizing us a traditional or a regular board pattern which is enlightened with the new education policy in front of us, which is consisting of different parameters, of which few can be summarized on the screen. Board exams will be given with the minimum weightage, and maximum emphasis will be given to knowledge and application. A number of vocational courses will be added. Instead of a typical report card, artificial intelligence will be there with us to evaluate the performance as well as the behavior of we all. We will be having a freedom to learn the subjects as well as our standards in our mother tongue, as well as these all can be considered to be one side of the new educational policy, whereas one more important parameter in front of us is nothing but the entrepreneurship. That is nothing but the combination of entrepreneurship and innovation will be leading us for the maximum development, considering all perspective of the success of we all as well as our country. So moving ahead, so here we can have a look on the typical education pattern, but before that I would like to congratulate all the participants over here and all the students who are going to get introduced with the new educational policy in front of we all. I would like to concentrate on the word proposed. It is the proposed educational policy in front of us. How much success that can be gained will be dependent on the implementation by government and the response by we all. Also, here we can have a look on the screen. That is, if a huge change is required to be achieved for a nation or in a nation, just change the educational system, as per the quote by a philosopher. Here we can have a look on a typical education pattern in which all of we people have learned till today. We have concentrated on remembering, understanding, and maximum height is reached by us to the application level by few of the students. But here, according to the new educational policy, we can observe that the overall emphasis will be given up to the creation of different types of application to be considered for the development of our nation. Few of the images at the bottom on every screen are here indicating that artificial intelligence will be there for evaluation of the overall performance of we all. Maximum concentration will be given at the foundation level for sports. Third image is indicating that we can have the education in our mother tongue or in our local language. This pattern or this system will be effective for pre-primary, primary and up to the 12th standard education, where students will be provided with the fields of learning in arts, in music, in communication, in economics, in science, in mathematics, and all sectors of the development. So to have a look or to have a perspective of all these parameters, I have kept these images at the bottom of every screen. So let us proceed further to have a top view on the new educational policy 2020. So here, as per the information given by previous speakers, here we can observe that pre-primary, primary up to second standard can be considered to be foundation stage, in which maximum emphasis will be given to sporty development, book weight reduction or the bag weight reduction. That is a typical problem nowadays for many of the students that we are observing, will be reduced at maximum level. It will be continued with the future defining stage, with the study or learning of mathematics, science, social science, arts in the standards of 3rd, 4th to 5th standard in parallel with the regular or traditional primary education system, or similar to primary education nowadays. Third stage will be the middle stage, in which 6th, 7th and 8th standard students will be learning with interest, or maximum interest will be there. The reason behind the maximum interest will be made clear in the further slides. So last stage will be covered by the in-depth understanding, explanatory skills and motivated students to bring their dreams to come true for the standards of 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th standard. So this can be considered to be, in a typical engineering language, we can consider it to be a top view approach, in which starting from pre-primary up to the 12th education, which will be having a minor difference from consideration of top view. But if we'll observe from the front view or the sectional view, we can have the difference as per the content in the further screens. So at a glance here we can observe that as per the content provided by previous speakers, the change is proposed by our government after a huge gap of 34 years. Still we are in the pull making process, which is in progress nowadays, because we have to, or because educationalists, our government is in the process of forming a pool of different subjects which will be in favor to a number of students' interest as well as their hobbies. Instead of the yearly pattern, here we can see that 9th to 12th education or 9th to 12th standard students will get educated by semester pattern. Many of the students, or we also, were thinking as per the previous traditional pattern that though we are having average marks in the terminal examination, we will be scoring much in the final or annual examination. It will not be the case, and we'll have to learn throughout the year. That is, as per the proposed structure of new educational policy, here we can see that it will be intended with semester pattern. They also are proposing to simplify the board examination. In our ages, or in the previous age of learning, there was a huge threat amongst we all to learn or to appear for the board examination in 10th standard as well as in the 12th standard. But nowadays, as per the proposed new educational policy, they are trying to simplify. Also, it is being heard that the board of 10th standard will be removed and there will be only board examination at the age of 12th standard education. So here also, in the glance, we can observe that maximum of the emphasis will be given on the concept of understanding or skills of understanding, and they will be reducing the remembering pattern. Maximum of the students nowadays that we are going to observe with the concept of remembering the pattern. Instead of that, the emphasis will be given to the skills of understanding. At the time of getting admission to colleges, if suppose a particular student is having a minimum or average marks, he will be appearing for a typical aptitude test, and for the college admission, the school result plus aptitude test will be forming the merit for the students for getting the admission in that particular college. One sentence here we can observe that in previous cases we were calling this department as a Manav Sansadhan Mantralaya, and nowadays it will be called as a Shiksha Mantralaya, that we can observe. That is simplification term. With these words that we can observe, we were having minimum information by observing this Manav Sansadhan Mantralaya, but directly they have renamed the department by Shiksha Mantralaya. That will be simplifying many of the aspects. That's why instead of going in the routine typical manner, I thought that if presentation is made more colorful or is made somewhat different, students will be getting maximum of the interest, or student may understand some parameters of new educational policies at the maximum level. Also here we can observe that graduation can be completed in the stages of different pattern. That is, if we are going to complete the 4-year of graduation course, if we are completing the first year, we can come out and will be given with the certificate course. If we are completing 2 years, we'll be getting diploma. If we are completing 3 years, we'll be getting bachelor's degree. And if suppose we are completing all 4 years of the graduation, we will be getting the research degree. That was not the concept as per our typical traditional system. Also here we can observe that many courses can be learned at a time, and there will be a new concept of academic bank of credit. If we are having number of credit that can be used at a time, and many of the students can get a number of credits that will be useful for them for future development. Though it is looking to be somewhat ideal structure, here we can see that this new educational policy structure is reviewed by a number of students, teachers, lecturers, professors, education experts, politicians, people representative, and also from 125 village committees. That is, more than 2 lakh people have reviewed this policy and are considering the practical implementation to be fruitful for this particular policy. Also, for higher educational institute, it will be becoming a multidisciplinary institutions by 2040, with about 3,000 to 4,000 number of students in one specific college, and excepting the law college and medicine college or medical college, there will be a separate regulator who will be governing all such colleges. So as per the heading of my content, innovation and entrepreneurship, here I have listed a few of the important innovative points in our educational policy. That is, here we can see that motivation, there will be a huge motivation for learning Sanskrit in schools and colleges. The students of IITs and IIMs will be provided with the facilities of arts and humanities that can be learned by them. A student who is going to study physics subject may also learn as fashion studies as one of the subject. In a very similar way, a student learning chemistry will be having interest in the bakery science, will be finding interest, and he will be learning both the subject at a time. Science as well as commerce students can learn subjects like history, and there will not be any clear-cut line which will be separating or which will be restricting any students to learn the subjects of his interest. If a student is learning physics in parallel, he can also go for the subjects like biology or any subjects of his interest. One of the most important point here that we can observe, considering the engineering student, candidate or a student of the age of 10 years age can start his programming or coding practice, and also can go for internship. In a very similar way, a student who is interested in sketching or painting can also go to a painter or to an artist for getting trained or for learning. One more example here is a coding lover. A student who is having maximum interest or love or affection towards the coding can go to a software developer at the age of his schooling time only. It is not required for him to complete the 12th standard education, and at the time of graduation only he will be going to any software developer. It will not be the concept as per the new educational policy that is in front of us. In a very similar way, here we can observe there will be a multi-entry and multi-exit. That is, many of the students, those who are having interest in a specific subject, can enter into the curriculum. They can complete 1 year of education. They can complete 2 years of education. They can complete 3 years of education, and as per their interest, they may get out for any job application or as per their interest or as per their will. And after a specific time, if they are intended or if they are interested, they can come back to complete the graduation course or to complete with the research perspective of that subject. Here the students will be using the credits which will be recorded in the academic bank of credit, that is similar to a particular Google Drive. All the credits of the students will be preserved online, and the students will be able to use these type of credits as per their interest. Many interesting points are here, that music, arts, and the article writing will be a particular section or the department in every college. That is the most important point or the point of interest by many of the students present here. Also, there will be a restriction on the fees by school. Instead of going to a huge amount of fee structure that we are observing nowadays in the schooling system, we can have a particular restriction implemented by new educational policy. In parallel to this, we can have, soon we will be having world's top 100 university that will be opening their centers in India, and by being in our country only, we can complete or we can get the degrees from foreign universities also with the help of new educational policy. Also, in the vice versa manner, we can observe that number of Indian institutes will be able to set up their centers abroad. All the educational institutes will be treated for not for profit type, similar to NGO that we can observe. Here we can see that educational institutes will be serving for not for profit type, and they will be implementing all the concept for the unique cause, that is nothing but a development of each and every student. Also, there will be a platform for free exchange of ideas, that is similar to project exhibition competitions. We can have number of platforms that will be implemented in our country for exchange of different ideas among students. There will be different e-courses in regional languages available. One more important point here that we can see that there will not be any compulsion on English. They can go for mother tongue or any local language they are interested. Last but not least, extracurricular activities and behavior will be evaluated for every student for the whole year by 360-degree. That is, a student who is misbehaving in the first month will be evaluated at the last month of his overall standard of education being completed, and he will be graded accordingly by observing his behavior as well as his overall performance in different parameters of evaluation, and accordingly it will be evaluated. And for the evaluation, as per the image is indicating, there will be use of artificial intelligence that can be made for actual evaluation or future defining for every student. And as we know that nowadays we have to go for either arts, commerce or science branch, it will not be the restriction or it will not be the routine that nobody or none of the students will be restricted to a specific branch, that is either arts or commerce or science. Students will be going to the desired direction as per their interest. So friends, these are innovations that we can observe, that can be seen by we all, and these are the innovations of a new educational policy that we can have a look. And the second point of the presentation was entrepreneurship, as per the statement indicated over here. ये इश्क नहीं आसान बस आग का दरिया है और डूब के जाना है. Similar to the concept, entrepreneurship, many of the students, many of the young generation is thinking that instead of going to any job, I will start with my industry, I will invest at the maximum and I will be definitely successful. But friends, it is not the case, because we all are not having any clarity of different parameters related to entrepreneurship, because it was not included in our syllabus structure as per the early stage. But nowadays we can observe that number of competitions or number of examinations are being conducted considering the entrepreneurship as a need. If we are just knowing the word campus interview, in few years we will be knowing the importance of this entrepreneurship, and we'll have to go for different parameters, and syllabus structure or our curriculum will be developed according to that. For example, here a number of case studies will be added in our curriculum. For example, what is Ola, what is Uber, what is Flipkart, what is Big Bazaar, a number of case studies, how they have started with the entrepreneurship, that we can have a look, or we can concentrate on the strategies, and definitely these can be implemented. To foster this entrepreneurship, tinkering labs are developed in school. Human resource development will consider this particular subject as a course structure in their curriculum. Many of the business startups, as we can see here, business startups have been funded by our government. In today morning only, they had been evaluated some of the projects of startup by IIC committee. In this very similar way, many of the business startups are getting funded by our government nowadays. But comparing with the foreign or with the Western countries, we can see that technology is hand to hand in the application of real words. Whatever the application nowadays we are observing or we are going to use are being taught as the content of technology. But as we can observe, that our syllabus structure is somewhat lagging. That need can be completed with this new education policy in a short period of time. A reference example that can be seen over here, that is in case of Harvard University, which is offering 33 entrepreneurship courses. That also in the year of 1947, at the time of our independence, Harvard University had offered 33 courses related to entrepreneurship with 182 startups, and the amount of gain of the startup that we can observe here, 1,20,000 crore US dollar was the amount gained by the university structure, or the amount gained by the startups at that age. That we can observe here, that what is the importance of entrepreneurship. And here we can note that entrepreneurship is the future, and we have to adapt as early as possible, and be assured that it will be in our new educational policy. Here is a screenshot indicating the Harvard University or different universities of foreign regions, in which number of courses offered years, number of courses provided, and the number of startups as well as the funds raised in US dollar are being indicated, that we can observe. This slide is intended only to have the structure of impact or the strength of entrepreneurship that we have to understand. Last but not least, concluding my content, as the proposed, I would like to stress this word once again, proposed. It's just learn, how to learn. It talks about pivoting education towards learning about how to think critically, how to solve a number of problems, how to be creative, and how to be multidisciplinary, how to innovate, how to adapt, and how to absorb a new material in the novel and changing fields. But on the contrary, there is one more side of this new educational policy. Though all the points seems to be very urgent and necessary, required, very essential or needy, we will be clear after the actual implementation of the same in coming few years because of its ideology. Hopes that it will be all true to its words. Wish we all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Director sir. Now the last, that is the turn of mine. I'm Professor Maslekar. Now we'll share you. Director sir, please stop your sharing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, once again, I welcome all in the orientation session of National Education Policy. Here, if we observe or study the draft of National Education Policy 2020, it is divided in 4 categories. First one is school education, second is higher education, third and fourth points are other key areas of focus and making it happen. So already school education and higher education given a lot of emphasis by other speakers. Now I want to focus about the other key areas which are included in this national education policy. The first area, that is the professional education. So in professional education, the main aim of this NEP is to prepare the professionals, and then how it has happened. So universities and institutions shall aim to become multidisciplinary institutions offering holistic and multidisciplinary education for making the professionals. Then in agriculture sector, capacity and quality of agriculture and allied disciplines must be improved in order to increase agricultural productivity through better skilled graduates and technicians, innovative research, and market-based extension-linked technologies and practices. In the legal sector, it needs to be competitive globally, adopting best practices and embracing new technologies for wider access to and timely delivery of justice. State institutions offering law education must consider offering bilingual education for future lawyers and judges in English and in the language of the state in which the institution is situated. The another point of professional education, that is healthcare education. In this healthcare education sector, our healthcare education system must be integrative, meaning thereby that all students of allopathic medical education must have a basic understanding of Ayurveda, yoga, naturopathy, Unani, Siddha, homeopathy, and vice versa. Means the naturopathy doctor may have some knowledge of Ayurveda, or Ayurvedic doctor must have some knowledge of allopathy, etc. In technical education, while creating professionals, India must also take the lead in preparing professionals in cutting-edge areas that are fast gaining prominence, such as AI, 3D machining, big data analysis, machine learning, and already we are learning genomic studies, biotechnology, nanotechnology, neurosciences, etc. Apart from professional education, a focus is given to adult education in the national education policy. So in adult education, at the level of society and at the nation, literacy and basic education, these are the powerful force multipliers which greatly enhance the success of all other developmental efforts. And here in this policy, disadvantages of non-literate member of a community are listed. As all we know, what are the disadvantages of non-literate member? I will not read out those. Adult literacy programs, the key success factors to make this adult literacy programs successful, those are volunteerism, community involvement, and mobilization. The National Literacy Mission, launched in 1988, resulted in significant increases in national literacy during the period of 1991 up to 2011. In adult education, outstanding adult education curriculum framework, for making this adult education successful, a curriculum will be finalized, developed by the NCERT, and that will be followed by the 5 types of program, that is the foundational literacy and numeracy, critical life skills, vocational skills development, basic education, continuing education. So these are the 5 points which are given a focus for adult education. Again, for adult education, suitable infrastructure is needed, and for that purpose, schools, complexes, after school hours, on weekends, and public library spaces are utilized. Then adult education centers are formed, and these are formed within the public institutions. Then next point is, who will teach them? Who will teach to the adults? That is instructors and educators. So these instructors will be trained by the national, state, and district level resource support institutions. So these instructors will be identified and then they will be given support. Any scheme initiated by government will not get a success by the participation of community members. So participation of community members is very essential. That is social worker, counselors will also be included to make this adult education successful. Improving the availability and accessibility of books made available to the adult educators. Use of technology in this adult education, that is technology-based options for adult learning, such as apps, online courses, modules, satellite-based TV channels, online books, and ICT-equipped libraries and adult education centers, etc., are utilized for making this adult education system or scheme successful. Apart from the adult education, another key area of focus that is promotion of Indian languages, arts and culture. As we know, India is having very different culture, and therefore the promotion of culture and language will be given a focus here. Cultural awareness and expression are the important contributors both to individual as well as societal well-being. Cultural awareness and expression are among the major competencies considered important to develop in children in order to provide them with a sense of identity, belonging, as well as appreciation of other cultures and identities. The happiness, well-being, cognitive development, and cultural identity of individuals are important reasons that Indian arts of all kinds must be offered to students at all levels of education, starting with early childhood care and education. So from early level of education, arts and cultural programs will be included in national education policy. In order to preserve and promote culture, one must preserve and promote a culture's language. Okay, for promoting the culture, we must preserve a language. And how the language will be preserved? Indian Institute of Translation and Interpretation, that is IITI, will be established. It provides a truly important service for the country as well as employ numerous multilingual language and subject experts. So this IITI will be established in NEP. 4-year B.Ed dual degree will be developed. For example, science and mathematics teachers to teach science bilingually at schools across the country. Another scheme, that is Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat. 100 tourist destinations in the country will be identified where educational institutions will send students to study these destinations with respect to their history, scientific contributions, traditions, indigenous literature and knowledge to gain the knowledge of languages, etc. Indian Institute of Translation will be established. Then all languages in India and their associated arts and culture will be documented through a web-based platform. It will develop a portal or by using a Wikipedia. These platforms will be used, which contain some videos, dictionaries, recordings, and more of people, especially elders, speaking the language, telling stories, reciting poetry, and performing plays, folk songs, and dances, and more. So for giving the importance to language, these web-based portals are added. Technology use and integration. In this, an autonomous body is formed, that is the National Education Technology Forum, NEFT, NETF. NEFT will be created to provide a platform for the free exchange of ideas on the use of technology to enhance learning, assessment, planning, administration, and so on, both for school as well as higher education. Then online and digital education will also be given a focus here in this national education policy. This policy recommends the following key initiatives, that is pilot studies for online education. This NEFT, SEET, NEOS, IGNOU, IITs, NITs will be identified to conduct a series of pilot studies to evaluate the benefits of integrating education with online education. Then digital infrastructure will be developed. That is, then online teaching platforms and tools will be used. That is Swayam, Diksha, etc. Already Swayam is already using. Content creation, digital repository and dissemination. This is another point regarding the online education. Addressing the digital divide. So television, radio and community radio will be extensively used for telecast and broadcast such educational programs. And those programs will be made available 24/7 in different languages for as a digital education platform. Virtual labs will be created. Already virtual labs are in existence, and another virtual labs will be created by using the platforms such as Diksha, Swayam Prabha to create the virtual labs. Trainings and incentives for teachers will be given. Online assessment and examinations will be done. Blended models of learnings will be introduced, and some standards are laid down for the education initiatives. Now, we already discussed a lot of things regarding this national education policy, that is primary education, then higher education, other key areas of focus. Now, the last point, how it will happen, making it happen. So there are two basic points, that is strengthening the Central Advisory Board of Education. It will not happen if this Advisory Board of Education will not be strengthened. So a Central Advisory Board will be strengthened, and then finance, affordable and quality education for all. If it will be given finance, then with respect to these 2 points, then our national education policy will definitely get a success. Implementation. In implementation, any policy's effectiveness depends on its implementation. Therefore, the implementation of this policy will be led by various bodies, including MHRD, CABE, union and state governments, education-related ministries, state departments of education, boards, NTA, the regulatory bodies of school and higher education, NCERT, SCERT, schools and higher education institutes, along with timelines and a plan for review. Okay, so lastly, so this is the last one. I must express here sincere thanks to our management, Secretary Sri S.A. Patil sir, Principal of A.G. Patil Institute of Technology, Dr. S.A. Patil sir, Campus Director Sri M.A. Chaugule sir, Vice Principal Dr. V.V. Poddar sir, for giving us an opportunity to talk on a very important issue, that is the national education policy. Apart from this, I'm also thankful to all the participants for their silent listening and cooperation. And I'm also thankful to the team of this NEP, Institutions Innovation Council, for their efforts. Thank you one and all. And lastly, I'll talk in Marathi because here language is given a preference. So सगळ्यात शेवटी मी असं म्हणेन की सगळ्या जणांनी मिळून की पॉलिसी आपण जी आहे त्याचा थोडा बहुत अभ्यास करू, समजून घेऊ आणि सर्व क्षेत्र मिळून या पॉलिसीला आपण सक्सेसफुल करू. या ठिकाणी मी थांबते. थँक्यू once again for your support. Thank you. Now you can leave the meeting.